Welcome to another episode of Carolyn Talks Television. I'm here today, Carolyn Topol, with my lovely co-host, Rachel Arnett.
Hello.
And our very, very special guest, Jennifer Evans, who is usually the person who is running the show, literally, from behind the screen, but this time she earned, with a very lovely donation, the privilege of not only being our special guest after the big fundraiser for West Hartford Community Interactive, but which I will talk about as part of this, but also she got to pick the topic. And her topic is, I'll let you say it.
Public access television. What else? Community television.
Sorry.
Go for it.
Choreography that I was doing. No?
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
That was perfect.
Yeah, we'll be Carolyn Topol and the Pips.
I like it.
I mean, is there any other television really?
Of course not. I didn't know there was.
That's
Now,
all I talk about.
Public access, which you are watching now, so thank you very much for being so supportive. We know public access, and I'm going to give you the Wikipedia explanation, because of course we know that's always the perfect explanation for everything.
Totally reliable.
And accurate, and accurate.
That's true.
Okay,
This
it's a
is.
form of non-commercial mass media where the general public can create content and television programming which is narrowcast, really means niche markets, subjects very specific, and it's done through generally cable TV types of channels, and just like we have our Channel 5. Okay, so tell me a little bit more, extend that definition,
So
please.
what I like to think of is community television channels were originally set aside when cable came into the market. They were saying, okay, how are we going to regulate these people? They
Right.
should have to serve the public interest. That should be part of what cable channels do.
Absolutely.
So the cable company said, whoa, like that's a little, we have a plan. We want to be able to develop niche, channels.
Right.
And so the compromise was set up to say, okay, well, if a community wants a channel, we'll give them a channel, and they know best how to serve the local public interest. And so therefore, if the community came forward and said, we would like a channel, then the cable company would provide resources,
Right.
to help develop a channel and channel space on their lineup. And that was really the beginning of community access television. And we are super fortunate to have lived in a community where they immediately recognized the value of having a cable channel to share information and build community. And that's kind of how it all got started.
Now, West Hartford has been doing this for a very long time, which is it was a very forward-thinking concept when it was first started. Could you tell us a little bit about the history behind West Hartford's television?
Sure. So in the beginning, I think the first program that was ever telecast was a Board of Education debate.
Always.
Yes. And I think that even today we still try to, we have a debate coming up. This is going to run for the 19th district special election next week. So we really
Right.
do see that as one of our primary roles. But so it's kind of fitting that was one of the first programs that was ever telecast. And it was founded by Nan Streeter, who went on to become the state senator and many great things, together with Muriel Fleischman, and there were many other early stakeholders. They just kind of took this place and made it what it is. And I think it had many homes. I believe at one point it was in a bank vault. So the studio, you would show up, and because it had high ceilings, and so
And it was quiet.
Exactly.
That's true. I like that.
And I
You gotta be
think,
really careful about getting locked in at night, though.
yeah,
Very careful.
yeah.
Unless you bring a lot of sandwiches and bottled water, then you can just
There
have a
you
party.
Well, I guess it's all your point of view. right?
There you go. There you go.
So, and then I believe they were also, at one point, they had facilities or
Right.
things over at the American School for the Deaf and a variety of different locations until when they renovated the town hall. I don't remember exactly what year that was, but they all took the backstage area of the auditorium and they turned that into the studios where we are today in room 3 26 of the town hall.
And it really is a beautiful, for community television, it is a beautiful studio facility with a very, very large roster of shows. I mean, this is not, we just tape when everybody's got a school PTO meeting. This is, you have shows, like we have our show, we're one of many, which is wonderful because there's a lot of different genres that you share with the community, giving truly access to members of our community.
And I think it's interesting because there's so many ideas that exist like this now online. I mean, if you think of YouTube and all of the different YouTube shows that people start, this is really like a grassroots effort that YouTube influencers now kind of have taken to this other place. But I really like the being in a studio in a local area because it speaks to what that community is actually talking about.
Right. I think it's important to note that every single show is produced or provided by someone who lives in the town of West Hartford, which makes it uniquely local. And, we don't, beyond sort of the rules and regulations of what can be telecast via the state of Connecticut, like no nudity, that kind of thing. I know. Sorry, ladies.
I'm sorry, our next episode has just been changed.
But, beyond those, you have to meet prevailing community standards for content.
Right.
But beyond that, pretty much any person that has a passion for something, they can bring it and they can share it. And we really feel like that helps, build a better community. Because, if you know somebody's story, then you can really understand like where they're coming from. And it just really provides an opportunity to get a window into all the different facets of West Hartford. And I really feel like that is probably one of the most rewarding parts of it for me is just our community has so many amazing people that are doing, really interesting things and have interesting, sort of hobbies and things that they really care about. And I get to see a lot of it, as the executive director, all the different shows. And especially I've now been here almost, 20 years. In various roles, 10 years as the executive director. So I've really had a chance to just see all kinds of, amazing creative work during the time that I'm here.
And, I actually have spent a number of hours watching the television channel. Now, I know it's changed its name, but I'm going to just say West Hartford Community Television for now until we talk about that. Because, just even over the years, for example, let's say I didn't get to the Memorial Day Parade, and which is something I love. I love the Memorial Day Parade we have here. I always knew that I could flip on Channel 5. It's going to be there. Yep. It's going to be there because as soon as it's done, they're going to put it in the package and put it on the air for me, and I'm going to get to see it. And I'm going to see it on my TV screen, not on someone's little video screen because you've been doing it for a long time. It's not like you've been doing it just for 1 or 2 years.
I think it also provides ways for people to be engaged with the community when perhaps, if they're at home with an injury, but they always go to Board of Education meetings or they always go to town hall meetings, you can see it and still be aware of what's going on in the town and the important decisions that are being made if for whatever reason you're not able to make it into the meeting that day. And I think being able to provide that sort of information is really important in an era where we really need to take in a lot of information to make important decisions.
Right. And I would just say, we're in the era of the soundbite, like the one soundbite that is sort of the culture of same. It's just like you see that same soundbite across all social media, but you maybe don't get to see the bigger picture. And one of the things that community television, really helps build is sort of you get to see the whole thing, gavel to gavel. And we have tried to make it so that you can find what you want. We have. We are on cable, but we also have a YouTube channel, and we timestamp all of the meetings based on the agenda item, so that we started doing that about a year ago. So we haven't gone back and done the whole archive, but recently, like when you go in, you can go see. Just want to see the superintendent's report, or I just want to go see this one agenda item. And then recently, the town council went to a new agenda software called Board Docs. And we are now able to integrate our YouTube video right within their page. So when you go,
so you can click on.
So now you can go to the agenda, and it'll say view video or view video.
And they'll bring it to you.
And you click the
Right.
view. No, it takes you to the agenda, which is then itemized. So you pick the number you want, and it goes to the timestamp.
Oh, that's
So-
wonderful. That's
So
wonderful.
right within the town's website. So it's
So
really
if there's
something we're
something
excited about.
specific you're looking for, you don't have to watch the whole
Right.
meeting.
And you can see
Wow.
all the parallel materials
fabulous.
that go with it. So it's really exciting.
And
So-
it's added a level of sophistication to community access television in a whole different way. And the other thing is, for the entertainment type of shows, like ours is sort of interview, entertainment,
I like to think we're
information.
entertaining, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what?
once in a while.
We'll dance next time.
I already did
Oh, that's right.
my choreography.
If you missed the beginning, we'll do a final dance at the end.
I gotta get the jazz hands.
To get the
out.
jazz hands going, right. But that one of the things that's wonderful is that with the era now of social media, you reach so many more people. You don't have to live in West Hartford, get the local channel to watch it. When we shoot our shows out, first of all, anybody can go to your YouTube page, and then when I bring it to mine and I shoot it out through my media platforms, and Rachel does, and so forth and so on, suddenly you're reaching people all over the world, which was never even thought of when community access was in its infancy.
I know it's pretty amazing, and we have some pretty neat stories. Like, we sometimes we always record the Hall Conard football game, and I have this amazing story of there were a group of men in Ohio that all went to Hall High School, and they were in the same home, and they actually were able to YouTube
Oh my
it
gosh.
up on the there, and then they were cheering for their team, and we got a note back.
So it's
from-
like a high school class reunion in another state.
It
That's
was
great.
really neat. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
we were
really
pretty excited.
sweet.
And I think it's cool because what you talked about earlier with getting the picture of like what a community is about
Yeah.
and what's important, I could go on and see someone in Alaska's show and learn about what's happening in that Alaskan town.
Yeah.
And I just think that
Yes.
in a world that seems so far apart sometimes, it's really cool that public access, accessed online,
Right.
can bring Alaska to West Hartford. or
We
West
say all the
Hartford to
time,
Alaska.
there's many kinds of content on YouTube, so in many ways it does offer opportunities, but the community engagement piece, the training piece, all of those kinds of things, they only happen at community television.
Well, the other thing is, and I think Rachel said that, you both said it really, is I think the studio makes a difference.
Absolutely.
There's a slightly different level there, you know? While we may bring in some bits, and when we bring in pieces from the outside, frequently you send a professional camera out. I know you can do some with the more amateur viewing, which we may do in our future at time to time to incorporate, but having the studio and having the equipment and having the professional sitting behind the directing booth is a whole different level, different level. Someone's editing this. If something was to happen, which I think, doesn't happen often, but if we needed something pulled out,
Yep.
like, oops, we shouldn't have done it. We could say, there's this, oops, we shouldn't have done it.
It's not like it's ever me that is responsible for those things.
Absolutely not, absolutely not.
Definitely.
No, it was the monkey in the corner. It's okay.
Yeah, no.
It was okay. He jumped in place, and it just was unacceptable.
much.
It was too much, right? But the good news is, this is a professional facility.
We like to think so. I mean,
You're not sitting back there with your iPhone saying, "Okay, let's go, girls."
no. I mean, I'm actually very proud of the facility that we've built over the last we've done a lot of improvements over the last even 10 years, and including, like, we're sitting in front of these LED amazing lights that were professionally set that we got through a grant-sponsored program. So it really have tried to, make the environment one that's conducive to, like, really having, a good product, because, we want people to watch, you want it to be good enough so that, and to present ourselves the best way possible.
Now, most of the people who view this, or many, know us as West Hartford Community Television, which is WHC TV. But that changed very recently.
It did.
Tell us about that.
Well, so, I mean, community television is one piece of what we do, right? So it's something, and, you know, we've been really thinking about, like, what is our long-term, you know, in this world of YouTube, right now, the regulatory structure and the public policy environment is not very positive toward community television, you know, and there are many things happening both at the national level and at the state level that are you know, give us, you know, pause as to like what is the future of community television. You know, we had someone actually say to us at one point, you know, what do you look like if you have no channels? And of course, we will always fight for our channels because we know how valuable they are. I mean, in other parts of the state even, there are community groups that are coming forward that want a new channel, you know, that, you know,
Right.
So, I mean, it's not like just because there's YouTube or just because there's other distribution methods that this one is any less valuable. So
Absolutely.
there are currently over 18,000 cable subscribers in West Hartford, so it's still a significant number that are just watching us on traditional TV. But in the meantime, we've also sort of built out our YouTube channel so that, you know, we just believe that although we receive funding for the cable side of things, we've really been working on developing alternative revenue streams that really help pay for the other parts of the things that we do, like, you know, offering a YouTube channel so that anyone in town that wants to see their town council meeting can see it, whether they're a cable subscriber or not. You know, I mean, I think we just
I think
feel
that's
like
important.
That's
Yeah.
part of the public discourse. That's part of us serving the public interest. So that's something that we've really set aside. And so our new name, which is West Hartford Community Interactive, is really...
The fireworks.
Woo!
Yeah, it's the
No, that's our jazz hands. Those are
It's our
There we go.
jazz hands. There we
Okay,
go.
there we go. Okay.
We picked it because we really feel like that's one of the things that we do well. You know, it's you know, the information that we provide is to try to create a two-way conversation to, you know, and also, you know, we have some new interactive tools that we're looking forward to employing, and getting into areas of video, like 360 video and you know, I have all kinds of really neat ideas as far as like how we're gonna, you know, be more interactive as we continue to develop, you know, that side of what we do. But we're still community television, and we're still gonna operate our cable channels, and as far as everyone knows, like that piece isn't changing at all. It's just that, you know, we're looking at new ways to provide interactive training, you know, interactive, you know, you can come here and you can check out a camera. You'll still be able to come here and check out a camera, and but you might have access to tools that would allow you to create links within your videos. There's just going to be a lot of really exciting ways that we're going to be sort of developing the interactive side of what we do.
You know, and the nice thing is with interactive, I remember the other terms used, things like multimedia. We may have heard of things like that, multimedia, because West Hartford Community Interactive really is everywhere. You don't have to be a West Hartford resident to benefit anymore. Because of the nature of the internet and the interactive world out there that has come into everybody's house. I can't think of a single person I know at any age that doesn't have the internet. And if you have the internet and you can get YouTube, you can get anything in the world, and you could pass it on and you can learn from it. And I think that's one of the things that's really nice about this, is that you've made it possible for people to share the West Hartford piece of that puzzle, of that big interactive puzzle.
One of the other things that I personally appreciate about the station and about what you all do is when I was teaching, I actually, at least this point, had to be 7-8 years ago, had a student in high school who was interested in broadcasting but didn't know where. He came in and did like a 6-month internship, and he got to learn so much about cameras, and he ended up going on and going to the School of Broadcasting. And there are just so many opportunities for people, like you said, to be interactive, whether it's coming up with a show being on camera, being behind a camera, helping to edit videos, helping to set up events. I just think you guys do a really great job of engaging constantly and consistently with the community that you're serving.
Oh, thank you. That's my dream. That's when I feel like we're really reaching our full potential, is when we're sort of clicking on all cylinders and there's a lot of activity. And,
Absolutely, for
and
sure.
people are, we've had so many fantastic young people that have, grown up, and sometimes even, we have had people that started in 6th grade producing shows and then came back like while they were in college and produced shows. I mean, we have some
That's
really
cool.
famous alumni too. We have like Mike Schur, who used to, who is the producer of The Office.
Right.
He's from West Hartford, and he spent, part of his high school years hanging around West Hartford Community Television making skits.
His learning curve.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just, I also tell people one of the neatest things about community television is the networking that you can do by having a show or being on TV or connecting. We've had interns that have come in that maybe have a specific interest in maybe architecture, and if you're a young person and you're interested in, let's use architecture for the fun of it, right? You can call up architects that you admire that live right here in Connecticut and say, hey, I have a show about architecture. Would you come in and talk to me about it? Absolutely. And 95% will never say no to a kid that has showing that kind of interest and initiative. Or actually, it doesn't even have to be a kid, any person that is like really interested in a particular topic. So
well, and I know
it's a great way to connect.
I know for us, we've had a lot of fun bringing guests on, as you know. We do a lot of the shows, just the two of us, but we've also brought in guests depending on the topic. And I have yet to have the person leave and say, well, that was a miserable experience.
I hope not.
No, like they all even say, gee, that was a lot of fun, is usually what happens. As soon as you say, okay, we're done, and you say that's a wrap or whatever, and we're all set, and they say, that was so much fun. And we've even had someone, at least one person who said, can we do that again? And she just was on this past month. Can we do this again? And yeah, but not quite so soon. Let's give it a break a few months, because she's a single topic girl.
Zach is already waiting for Kid Show's episode 2.
Episode 2 of the Kid Show theme.
He's older this time, so he won't just talk about his pockets.
For those of you who don't know, one of our very earliest episodes was children's shows was the genre, and we had each of our children on. Now, mine is a grown-up married woman.
Mine was 4 at the time, so slightly different comfort levels and energy levels, I would say.
Well, one's energy level was, "Ooh, mommy, you have a pocket on your shirt. Can we look at it?"
Yeah.
And it was like, okay.
But he loved being in the space, and he now has a camera that he takes and he records little videos, and he wants to put together a show. So when he gets a little older, I may be calling.
There we go.
He's following in mommy's footsteps there.
Zach Zoo.
Really a place to...
I still remember many, many, many years ago, a college assistant dean in broadcasting who came out and actually said, I'm not giving you my age, by the way, but this should give you a teeny bit of a clue. Cable is a fad. It won't last. And I was a little bit taken aback, as with the rest of my classmates, because we didn't see it that way. And we were the forward thinking. And I think public access, people did not see initially the potential, which is why it crept up. Yeah. It didn't just fly onto the screen like, when you had NBC, CBS, ABC shows at that time. But now what we're seeing is more and more people kind of go to it's not your typical television.
It's very authentic, and creative.
I've had several people approach me, which sort of took me aback, because it's not like I go around carrying a billboard saying, watch my show, watch my show, watch my show. But who have come up to me who said, we were changing channels and decided to check out what was on the local channel, which I said, really good idea. And they said, and guess who we saw, was always the next sentence, of course. Right. But then the neat thing is, when they were changing channels, one of their AIM channels was to check out what was on the local channel. I think that says a lot for the future of public access, because people use it as a go-to. Yeah. It's because of the potential. Like you said, there's a lot of less limits here. We're not put in a corner and said, you can do this, but you can't do the rest of it. You can only do this. You can do. I know we have future plans for a little bit of creativity, and we've done crossovers with other shows on the channel. Two Guys and a Lot of Wine was a lot of fun.
That was so much fun.
Yes, and we plan to do some more with them in the
That was
future.
our own must-see TV, like, crossover. That was our sweeps week.
That was okay. So next February or November, we can do it for November. Right. That's our
November
sweeps
sweeps.
month. November sweeps.
There we go.
We're going to look for big stuff. Lots more wine. Watching hosts sit down after a show and say, "I can't move for the next hour and a half because I had 4 sips of wine."
But no nudity.
No.
No nudity.
I don't think that meets prevailing community standards.
No, we're cool on that. And I know we made a joke before, and you were like sort of taken aback. We said, public access is not Wayne's World. So all of you who've seen Wayne's World, yeah, that was
Well,
comedy.
it could be. That's the thing,
yeah.
right? But
could
I do
be.
think that sometimes, I think all content is useful, right?
Yes.
Everything comes together to help you build sort of like the fabric of West Hartford is all reflected in what we do. And I think it's important to celebrate that.
And I think on that note, we're going to start to tie things up and make sure that we say thank you to Jennifer. Having you as the executive director of West Hartford Community Interactive is a true joy. You direct us beautifully and have done from day one to now, so thank you so much. Rachel and I aren't going anywhere. We're having too much fun doing this.
This is like what I look forward to.
And there's a lot more TV out there, so you're going to see a lot more from us for sure. And once again, remember, it is interactive, so if you want to get in touch with Jennifer or Rachel or myself, that's what it's there for. Get on that YouTube, put in a comment, and let us know what you want to see and what you want to hear. And if you want to participate in public access. And for Rachel and Jennifer, thank you again for joining us with Carolyn Talks Television. We'll see you next month.